Above experiments, there were hints of living beings already existing in the fourth dimension. Once we are able to cognize this dimension, we will share it with other heretofore unseen inhabitants, the elementals or devas, and beings of the angelic realm. Yeah, in the future we will tap into, or we will start interacting with spiritual entities in a more physical way. In our third dimension, clairvoyance can already observe the workings of this Deva kingdom. So as people rediscover nature and her bounty without the veil that the dark forces have cast over it, they will also encounter this other kingdom and gradually learn to integrate themselves into the life streams of these beings in much the same way we have learned to live with our pet animals. With the spread of etheric vision, physical sightings of our Deva friends will become more and more frequent. It should start by catching a movement in the corner of one's eye. Dreams of this dimension may become more and more real. Things may disappear only to reappear where they were put in the first place. There is a movement in the bedroom or the house. Cat chases something invisible. Such strange happenings will multiply until the Deva kingdom becomes more boldly visible. The sixth root race will focus in on this kingdom, and the more advanced sub-races of the fifth root race will learn to interact with this Deva kingdom as well. Yeah, I've even heard in a couple of theories that really they're waiting for us. This other group of living beings in like this unseen realm, they're waiting for us to evolve at a high enough capacity where, in my opinion, what I think of it is where they feel safe. They feel safe enough to reveal themselves. Right now, they probably wouldn't be accepted. Probably be dangerous. This gradual integration into the fourth dimensions will come primarily with a more harmonious integration with nature. Incredible innovations of technology will come out of the respect of nature and will begin to touch the hem of the fourth dimension of most things. For example, energy, oil, petroleum, has a fourth concept, or has a fourth dimensional aspect, and that is free energy. Hey, there it is. Free energy, y'all. For the future. This concept made its debut in the Tesla experiments at the turn of the century, only to be brutally suppressed. Free energy will finally dominate the energy field. For as can be seen, coal, oil, wood are the dense captors of that same energy. The freeing of this energy from the captors is to see energy in its fourth dimensional terms. Yeah, this guy who wrote this book has already been talking about free energy. And it's going to be more similar to like how Tesla discovered it. We're gonna go back to what we've already known was available. Now, is it going to look the same as it does today? No. I think a lot of people get confused, and when they think about this future with free energy, I think a lot of people think that we're going to be able to operate in the same way, that we're going to be able to do the same things. It's going to be the exact same, but free. And the reality of that is that that's not going to be the case. We're actually gonna at first have to learn to live with less. Eventually, we'll adjust, but it's not going to seem as bountiful as it does now. we've gotten used to some specific comforts that won't be as available in the future. We will also begin to see and understand the ongoing process of creation as we learn to observe builder devas or elementals form building. We will be able to contrast how people were enslaved in factories of production in the material regime. The whole regime of factory industrial production will eventually give way to the real builders. The creative process of visualizing what we need in order to carry out the divine plan sets in motion a chain reaction of deva activity. Mankind will learn how to cooperate with this creative activity in order to manifest all that will serve good. The redemonstration of some of the miracles that the Master Jesus performed, such as multiplying loaves and fishes to feed the masses, will no longer strike awe in people, but be most commonplace in life on the fourth dimension. It is either by individual effort on the path of initiation or through the successive generations of 6 root race vehicles that the human mind will evolve to the point of lifting itself into the fourth dimension. We know that the great yogis and occultists have advanced into the fourth dimension through the path of initiation. This path is always available to those who choose to advance spiritually. For the greater population of Earth, the birth-death cycles will also eventually carry them into the fourth dimension, but at a slower pace. New incarnations will enter the Earth in 6 root race vehicles that will be increasingly able to see and exist in the fourth dimension. Human evolution demands the ever-liberation of the soul, and in the years to come, the soul will express itself through the ever-evolving etheric racial stock that is carrying mankind into the fourth dimension. Today, the soul struggles to express itself as best it can through our dense physical bodies. Once our dense physical bodies give way to our etheric body, we will be able to operate on the fourth etheric subplane. The etheric body is what pundits of the New Age movement call the light body. Through the dense physical body and soul merely finds a speck of an opening to shine through, but through the etheric body, it will shine through to a greater degree, thus creating a whole new universe of possibilities in form. The lighter etheric matter affords the soul a greater window of expression. It is like clear glass versus translucent glass. There are vast lessons to be learned, and life will be experienced on the etheric plane. We can look forward to this prospect without fear. In essence, we are revisiting our lives on that plane, for before we devolved into dense physical matter, we lived on this plane. Since then, our souls have experienced millions of years of involution and journeyed through some of the densest matter in the universe, trying to express intelligence through dense matter. We are now returning to the etheric plane, hopefully all the wiser and with a greater sense of dominion. Lessons learned previously through dense matter will carry over to the etheric. We will be much like the blind person who has learned to grope through life using other senses and who gradually opens up to normal vision. When the earth has met the fundamental conditions of rebalancing, we will stand at the threshold of this new dimension. The long trek through dense matter will have shown us that no matter what, the soul will find a way to shine through any vehicle of expression. New teachings from the Brotherhood of Light will begin to appear over the next decades. These teachings will mark the way for mankind to undertake its journey into the fourth dimension and will add to the ancient wisdom we have learned up to now. An avatar, the world teacher, in whatever form the spiritual hierarchy deems suitable, will again set forth teachings that will help mankind find its way into the new dimension. just as Buddha and Jesus the Christ set the spiritual standards for the Piscean era. As usual, mankind is not being sent blindfolded into a new dimension, and the seeker of truth will receive the gentle hand of guidance from their age-old friends of the Brotherhood. Yeah, some change is going to be coming up. We'll be starting to interact more with the etheric plane and the spiritual entities. They call them devas, elementals. I think it'll be around that time we'll start discovering teleporting and all the other higher advanced forms of technology. The Star Treks. It'll be around that time. Maybe that's what all the aliens in Star Trek were representing. Show business has a funny way of doing that, revealing what's to come in the future. Or at least revealing hints of what's to come in the future. Right? They'll show a little bit of truth with a whole lot of movie magic and exaggeration to stimulate the senses. But there is a little bit of truth in there. But what I just read was part of that's what to expect. In the not so far off future, I mean, this guy's trying to predict this stuff to go down by 2070, 2060, somewhere around in there. In my opinion, do I think it's that soon? No. But you know, one thing I have noticed, and it relates with technology, advancements seem to happen at a more rapid rate as we go further, as we progress further through time. So maybe it will. Maybe the happening of events will happen at a more rapid rate. But I know one thing, there's a few, actually a lot that's got to happen before then. And a big part of that is the exposure of all the corruption that's going on right now within our government and all the other governments of the world. Any of the ones that are linked up with the dark forces. There'll be exposure. Because they can't go into this new age. So we're not there until that stuff starts happening. And what we can do to get us there, guys, and this is going to go into some magical idea. But what are some things that we can do? Think. Pray. Use your mind. I'll go into a lesson probably tomorrow, more specifics about thought forming and how to put formed thoughts into the mass consciousness. This will be a big way to get the ball rolling on this. And to give you a summary, it's basically the idea of people, a group of people, thinking of a better way to live and putting the thoughts into the mass consciousness. One would say, well, that's silly. How's that going to do anything? Well, immediately it won't do anything. But the thing is as time goes, eventually the thought form replaces the current mass consciousness thought forms. This is how you get ideas to spread. we'll go into more specifics, because there is specific steps, tangible steps that you can do. But a lot of it also is in your mind. When we say the collective, what do you think we mean? When I say I'm speaking to the collective, what am I referring to? I'm referring to the collective conscious. Mankind as a whole has a conscious. Also has a karma. They have their own thread of karma. Each race has its own thread of karma. So yeah, in the same sense that you can influence someone, you can also influence someone's, as in a whole, with your mind. We'll go into more of that maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure when exactly. But, yeah, good morning.